Let's try it again. Let's see if this one works. All right. Somebody give me a thumbs up, please. We apologize. I don't know why this keeps doing that. So, all right, wait for everybody to jump on here. So let's see if you guys can hear me now. All right, starting back. There we go. All right. I'm waiting for everybody to jump on. I apologize. I'm going to make sure you all know where I'm at. There we go. Round two. All right. All right, everybody. Shoo. I do not know what is happening with all this. All right. So my comments aren't wanting to come up, but all right. All right, listen. Apologize. 7:07. Tuesday Night Live. All right, gang, listen. We're going to talk about flow, not force. And now we've talked about this before, but what I do when I decide the topic for the Tuesday Night Live, I go back and I think about, and I'm going to pull up some notes. I go back and I look at the notes from um, I look at the notes from the last few coaching calls and everything we've talked about. And man, it just seems like we're just making it too hard. Chiropractic is running the chiropractic office. As far as running the business, running the practice itself, it's just not that hard. And I think what we're doing is we're making it way too hard. We're complicating it, and I get it. Especially a lot of us, a lot of you that are just getting started, you're just getting in the middle of this. I completely understand, but so many of us have been in practice for 3, 4, 5, 17, 18, 20 years. I think it's just we're trying to force everything instead of just relaxing and allowing things to happen. So I'm going to give you guys some things to think about. And I made a bunch of notes. And what I'm going to do also is I will add the notes. And I meant to do that already. Let's see if I can do this. I was going to add the notes so you guys could follow along with it. We're going to do this again. See if I can get those to come up. Expand comments. There we go. Um, Hang on a second. I'm going to do something real quick, gang. I want you to make sure that we do this. Copy. Hang on. I'm going to do this. All right. So you guys can take that, copy and paste it, whatever. Those are the notes. All right. So I believe we are ready to roll. So flow, not force. Listen, we talked about this the other morning. I talked about this with you guys. Your your life right now, and listen, I don't care where you are in practice. I don't care where you are in life. I don't care how old you are. I don't care any of that. This is for everybody watching this. Your life right now at this moment is the sum, everything, all totaled up of everything that you tolerate. And now that is something that I want you guys to write down. And we're going to do some. And oh, I forgot to tell y'all, if you have it available, pen and paper, because I'm going to have you write a few things down. Just we've never done it before, but I'm going to have you do it tonight. Okay. Your life is the sum total of everything that you tolerate. And I want you to think about, what have you been tolerating? Let's talk about this. What have you been tolerating in your practice? What have you been tolerating in your relationships? What have you been tolerating in your mindset? Because you do that, you allow it. You know, there's so many things that we do that you know is right and wrong, and yet we make a decision that we're going to allow it anyway. That's called tolerating. Um, And what happens is when you tolerate these things that you know you shouldn't tolerate, that's where force comes in. That's what costs you your flow. That's where it all comes from, you gang. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to think about some things. Your flow. And what I mean by flow is the ease. When I say flow, not force, I mean it's like when you're asleep, you're in just a deep sleep and you're breathing. You're just breathing normally. You don't have to think about it. You're not running, you're just your body is naturally breathing. But what happens is in our lives, in our practices, sometimes in our relationships, it's as if we're breathing and somebody puts a pillow over our face. And now we're having to force air. So I want you guys to think about this. Flow begins with inner alignment, not external approval. I'm going to say it again, and I want you to hear me on this. Flow, it begins to have a flow in your life, a flow in all aspects. Flow begins with an internal alignment, not an external approval. Things I want you to write down. Write it down now if you can. Who are you? Don't answer it yet. Just write this down. Who are you? What do you do? And why do you do it? Now, I want you to write this sentence down. I am blank, and I do this because blank. I'm going to say it again. Write this sentence down. I am whatever you want to put it in. I am a chiropractor. I'm a mother. I'm a father. I'm a whatever. And I do what I do. I do this because of. And what you're going to find out is you're going to find out your true purpose and your true reason for who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And then when you look at that, when you take a step back and you just analyze it, then you're going to ask yourself, what am I allowing? What kind of things am I allowing in my life? What am I tolerating that's creating the force and removing the flow? I want you to ask yourself this question. What in your life, what in your practice, what in your world deserves your energy? Because what you focus on expands. Flow requires choosing your focus intentionally. I'm going to give you an example. And I get this so much. Thinking and talking about how many people didn't show up. Does that deserve your attention? And I get this a lot. Doc, we did a patient appreciation day, and we did this and we did that, and we're growing and we're doing all these things. Um, and then the next thing you know, you're talking about the ones that didn't show up instead of the ones that did. I see this all the time. What you focus on expands. And so when you start thinking about the ones that didn't show up or the ones that canceled, or you're going to have that one patient that comes in that gave you a hard time, right? That complained. You had 38 patients that day, and everybody loves you, everybody paid, everybody followed through, and you got that one patient that throws a fit and said they feel worse, they hurt worse, you hurt them, I'm not coming back. And then that's all you can think about is that one person. Compare obsessing about what's missing versus building what you already have. So I look at it this way. If you're trying to break a record and you want to see 50 in a day, let's just use that as an example. 50 people in one day. All right. All right. 48 showed up and you missed it by two, and you're devastated because you missed your record by two visits. And all you're going to think about is those two people. The 48 was just taken completely away. Had you focused on those 48, if you focused on those 48 people, the two wouldn't have mattered. And then tomorrow, those two would have showed up plus 6 or 8 more, right? So we got to quit obsessing. This is what I wrote this down. We got to quit obsessing about what's missing, and we got to start focusing and celebrating and spending time on what we already have. When you obsess at what you don't have, that's force. When you celebrate what you do have, that's flow. I want you to ask yourself, I'm gonna have you write this one down, and then I'm gonna give you just about 30 seconds or a minute. What is one thing you already have right now? I want every one of you, I don't care what your situation is. What is the one thing you already have today that you've been overlooking or taken for granted? Something that you have. I want you to stop for a minute and just, I don't do this very often. I normally talk through the whole thing, but I've been thinking about this a lot. I want you to just stop. What do I have? What's the one thing that I have that I just ignore or I take for granted that I really should celebrate and give thanks to? I'm going to give you a minute and I want you all to write that down. Everybody write that down. Okay. Just a few more minutes. And not only write it down, but I want you guys to really think about it. Okay. I want you to think about what we're talking about, what's being said. All right. I want you, if you're watching this on the comments, just so I know everybody's kind of everybody give me a thumbs up that you got you wrote it down. Give me a little quick thumbs up. All right, they're all popping up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are great. All right, there's now they're starting to come. Thanks, Sam. All right, Evan. Well, listen, it'd be amazing. And when we do our coaching calls next time, and whoever's in their next coaching call, and then what I want you guys to do is I want you all to send me a personal message, either a text message or on Messenger, and I want you to let me know what it was. I'm curious. I'm just curious what we all come up with. All right. The one thing that you already have that you take for granted, like we're pushing, we're wanting more, we want to see more, we want to create more, we want to have more, but then sometimes we have so much that we overlook that. And reason I'm having you do this exercise is because when you go to your practice, I thought about this today. We were pretty busy today, and I thought about this. I say, the offices, they you guys get up to, let's say you're seeing, I don't know, 40 a week, 50 a week. Let's just say you saw 50 people a week. I mean, I know many of you are seeing a lot more, but some of you are just getting the ball rolling. That's 50 visits. What that is, that's 50 trips to your office. That's 50 different occasions that somebody trusted you enough with their health, with your advice. 30. Let's say you only saw 30 in a week. That's 30 visits. That might not be 30 different people, but let's just say that's 30 attempts to show you 30 examples of what others think of you, that they trust you enough to get in a car, drive to your office, lay on your table, and see you. Right? So I want you guys to think about this. Well, that's something to be grateful for. That's something to celebrate. That's something that you're overlooking. And what happens is, in the pursuit of growing a great big practice, we overlook the ones that are already there. And all we do is we give our attention to the ones that are not. And I'm telling you, this is where, and I'm not going to go into a whole big thing about other coaching groups, but this is what I see a lot is that, and as far as I know, from what I've heard from all of you, every one of you have told me this. There've been in other coaching groups that everybody focuses on KPIs and analytics and scripts and procedures, and you got to send them your numbers, and they'll look at your numbers and see that you're not converting or having conversions and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. What about connection? What about gratitude? What about actually loving your patient? No one's talking about that. And but they will tell you to spend $3,500 a month on Facebook ads. But then you got all these holes in your bucket, and the people come in and you're not connecting. So that's why I want you to do this exercise. And many of you are starting to get it from what I'm seeing. Okay, let's move on. I want you to, and here's the thing. We're talking about flowing and not forcing. If you're going to flow, the words that you use, words, I've never given this a lot of attention. I've always known it, but something I'm giving more and more attention is how powerful words are. I mean, think about the Bible, the written word, the word of God. I mean, words create everything. And I want you to start assigning powerful meanings to your words. Language and meaning, it determines your growth, what you say. I would like to see 40 people today, but I probably won't. I will see 40 plus today, and I would write it down 40 plus. You got to use language that determines where you're going, not language that holds you back. Even things that, and I know we all do this. Oh, it's just my luck. Think about what that says. Just my luck, which is all you're doing is you're speaking into your own ears, in your own consciousness, that you have bad luck, that this whatever just happened to you is normal because that's the kind of crap you get with, right? It's just you got to be so careful with this. A captain doesn't blame the storm. I want you guys all picture your. I use this analogy so much. I've been using it. I started using this analogy on our very first workshop of Focus Foundation. We had it. She's retired now. We had one of our doctors, a female doctor in Arkansas, and she was going to retire before she joined. She was 30 years of practice, an amazing, amazing lady. And she came to the first workshop with a friend. She wasn't going to join Foundations because she was getting ready to retire. And she was seeing about 50, 60, 50. She'd been there for a long time, about 50 a day. So she had about a 200, I think about a 200 a week office. She came to the first workshop and a light switch flipped. And from the one workshop to the next workshop, she grew to 100 visits a day. And she did that for, I think, 3 years until she finally decided to retire. The reason I bring that up is she showed up at the next workshop and she had a captain's hat on. And she said, when you said, I'm the captain of my ship, everything changed. And I want you guys to think about something. You are the captain of your ship, whether it be relationship, partnership. You are the captain of your practice, of your office, of your health, of the things you think about, of everything. You are in control. And storms are going to come. They're going to happen. You just know. Some of you are going through some crazy storms right now. Some crazy, crazy things. And I know what you're all going through because we talk about it. And we're not, and it doesn't matter because we all have our own storm to navigate. But I want you to think about something. And when I do this, I picture when I say captain on a ship, for whatever reason, this is what I think about. I go back, let's even go back to the 1700s, and they're leaving London, or they're leaving the UK or over there, and they're coming across over here or anywhere out in the ocean. And you got this captain, these old boats and these sailboats and these huge wheels, and they're up there, and they don't have GPS, they don't have radars. They have other ways, but they know there's a good chance that the storm is going to come, and when it does, there's things they got to handle. They got to keep their hand on the wheel. They got to navigate that storm. They've got a crew that they've got to lead. But the one thing a captain never ever did and never ever does is he doesn't stand there with his hands on the wheel and blame the storm for what's happening. Ever. He takes responsibility for how he reacts to it, the words he chooses, the actions he takes. That's what I mean by being the captain of your ship. They adjust their sails, they lead the crew, they take responsibility for what they're control of. Now, here's what I want you to do. Ready to write something else down? I want you to write down now a recent setback. And I'm going to give you about a minute, just a recent setback. And I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's something minor. Um, Air conditioner went out. We just had that not too long ago. Um, Car didn't start this morning. Um, I don't, it doesn't matter what it is. Everybody has, and and some of you may have some pretty major setbacks. You may have a loss in a family, whatever it may be. Just take a minute, write it down. I'm going to give you a second, and I want you to really think about it. Do this with me. And when you and everybody, give me your thumbs up when I start seeing some more thumbs up that you got it written down. But take a minute, okay? This is important. Hey, Miss Paula, good to see you, honey. Charles, thank you. Making sure everybody's doing good. Danielle. Hey, Gracie. Good to see you, Gracie. Hey, Gracie, I gave your number to a young lady that she's your sister from another mother down in Arkansas. When you talk to her on the phone, you're going to know you two are cut from the same cloth. Hey, Bryce, EJ, Corey. There's Miss Katie. Katie, I was talking about you too. Hey, John, Teresa. All right, everybody got it? All right. So here's what I want you guys to ask yourself now. This setback. Do you say that this happened for me or to me? Really simple. Every situation, every situation that you have happen in your life, you can choose to use the words, this is a lesson, this happened to me, or this happened for me. I'm going to share a story, and I hate to admit this because it's what I try to teach you guys against, but it happened. But I'm going to share a story that happened today. And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I've got a patient, Paula. She's been a patient for 25 years. Um, I've taken care of her kids, and now her grandkids. They come in periodically, and I hadn't seen Paula in a long time. And Paula is she is a sweet country godly woman, but she's got the craziest. We call her the crazy chicken lady because she raises chickens and she's always got some kind of crazy story that happened on a farm. Well, I hadn't seen her in a few months, just kind of odd. Well, she came in today and she said, "Doc, and it was ironic when she walked in. That first rush was over, and the patient was walking out as she was walking in, so there was no one waiting on me at that moment." And she said, "Since you're not busy," she said, if you don't mind, I need to tell you why I've not been here." And it's Paula, right? And you guys get it. And I try to tell you guys not to do that, but I did it. I did it. Well, Paula, what's going on? She said, "I'm divorced, 44 years." Completely caught me off guard. Make a long story short, her husband they thought he had a stroke. He had some kind of stroke seizure, and he went down, and they called the ambulance, and they got him to the hospital. And she said, this is a man that never speaks, a man of few words. Just if he says something, it's just he needed to say it. If not, he's quiet. 44 years of marriage, everything's been normal, been the same. Well, he has this episode, whatever it is, and then we get to the hospital and they put him in the hospital. They get him in a room and they're checking him, and all of a sudden, I hear him just talk loud, just loud, loud, loud. And I go into the room and I said, "Larry, um, let them ask you the questions." And he turned on me and screamed, "Shut up. You don't tell me what to do." She said, "In 44 years, this man has never said this." So it kept going on, it kept going on. And he started screaming at her. And he said, finally, we went home after a couple of days. I could do no right. And everything I did was a scream and a yell. And then she said, this was weird. She said, this wasn't him. Well, he went outside to do some work. And he was on his phone. I picked up his phone and I started looking through it. She said there was porn he's 70 years old. And she's like, I didn't know what to do. And I finally said, look, I won't have this in my house. Long story short, he said, we need a divorce. 44 years, had some sort of episode, flipped switch, over. Okay, so this is crazy. This is why I'm telling you the story. Here's what she said. She said, she said, I had to weather, and in her words, I had to weather the storm. I had to get through this. I'm brokenhearted. I don't know what to do. She said, but I had to tell myself, God wouldn't have done this to me. He did this for me. This was a gift. I don't know why, but he's saving me from abuse, or maybe he may flip and hurt me. He's saving me. So for whatever reason, this happened for me and not to me. And once I realized that, I had a peace. Doc, I'm going to be fine, and I need my adjustment. So I want you guys to think about what you all wrote down as your setback. And then I want you to think about Paula, 44 years of marriage. And like this, she is single at 70 years old, living on a Social Security check of $800 a month. She said her church is helping her kids are helping her. She said, I'm going to have to go back to work. She said, but this is a gift. I don't know how many of us would have actually looked at it that way, but it really got me thinking about what we were going to talk about tonight, and the language we use and the way that we look at our lives is now. And so up until that point, she was forcing herself to get out of bed. She's lost 32 pounds. She was forcing herself to get through the day. She was forcing herself to eat, and she's flowing. She's back in the flow of life, right? So I want you guys to practice something, present and future balance. Okay. With all that being said, your setbacks, and ask yourself, did this happen to me or for me? I want you to start changing the way we think about ourselves, because we can either force life to happen, we can force the way we react to life, we can force our practices, we can force our marriages, we can force the relationship with our kids, we can force our health, or we can accept the fact that everything is happening for us and we can flow through these things. And and here's what I want you guys to do. The flow lives in the balance of being fully present while moving toward a clear vision. So that's probably the biggest line of the night. Write this down. And while I put it in there, you can look at it. You don't have to write it down. But I want you to think about something. Flow, the flow of life lives in the balance of being fully present in the moment while still moving toward a clear vision of your future. That is one of the hardest things there is to do, is stay present in the moment, but still move forward to our vision. That's what I'm talking about. I had many of you say you're frustrated because you're not where you want to be yet. You're frustrated. Good. Stay frustrated. Stay frustrated. That's what's going to push you toward your vision. But in the moment, flow. Don't force it. The same way the adjustment. That's why I tell you, when you make an adjustment, palpate, set up, deep breath, see the bone move, allow the bone to move. Don't just be thinking about who's not here, thinking about something else, and forcing the bone to move. It's not going to work. When you walk in, have a conversation with a new patient. Many of you new doctors that are on here, welcome to the family. I want you guys to think about something. Danielle, when you and I believe we talked about this. When you go in for a consultation, don't force the conversation. Don't force them to answer a bunch of questions. Don't force a sales tactics or force your education or your knowledge on them. Just relax and flow. Let the conversation flow. Just ask them simple questions. Tell me what's going on. Let that flow. When you do a report of findings, see your X-ray right there. See this bone? You can tell that it's changing, right? That's not. It doesn't look like the rest of them. No. Okay, but it's because it's being stressed. That joint doesn't move well. We've got to get it moving. If we get it moving, it's got a chance to restore the proper motion. You've got the potential to heal. This like Neil Cohen said, this is good for you. Make it easy. Let it flow, gang. Quit trying to force conversations. Quit trying to force the adjustment. Quit trying to force people to come back. Quit trying to force your education on them. One of the doctors and I'm not going to call him out, he doesn't matter because many of you have been through this too. We had this conversation that this patient was just giving him the third, the third degree on how she felt, and he almost took offense to it, and I would have too back in the day, and started trying to defend himself and defend these things and try to explain and educate why she was feeling this way. And I said, I would have done the same thing years ago, but here's why I do it now. I get that. I had it here recently. Um, a patient, she's the same thing. All these things. I had one today, actually, come to think about it. But with the one in particular, she had vertigo and horrible neck pain and had all these problems. She was in a lot of pain. She was really in a lot of discomfort. And I did exam on Monday, consultation man on Monday, a report on Tuesday, adjusted her again on Wednesday. Come back on Monday. She said she had the worst weekend she'd ever had in her life. But she came back in and she's telling me about all these problems. And I said, good. And she looked up at me like I'd lost my mind. I said, good. That means you're healing. You did you've been carrying this around with you for years. Now you're healing. I said, how do you feel right now? She goes, well, I have to admit, I do feel a little bit better. Well, then let's continue doing what we're doing. So I adjust her, I help her up. That's a Monday. She comes back the next Tuesday, smiling. We're best friends. She goes, I cannot believe the night I just had. She's already referred 3 people from church. Flow. Don't force it, gang. Flow, not force. All right. Listen, relax for a minute. Here's what I want you to do. Another little exercise. Everybody relax. Great big deep breath. Set back. I want you in your brain. I want you to picture the ideal practice that flows. Picture this. 3 years from now, 3 years from this moment that you and I are getting to spend together, 3 years from now, I want you to look back and I want you to see this perfect practice. And I want you to anchor that picture. I want you to put it in your brain, that vision, and I want you to write it down, whether it be a collection, a visit, a certain house. I don't care what it is. Just jot a note down right now. I want you to anchor that in your brain. I'm gonna give you a minute to do that. Give me a thumbs up again when we got that. I know all of you have it because we've talked about it. Is 3 years from now, and 3 years goes by fast. Any of you that's been in practice for over 10 years, you know that. If you've been in practice 20 years, you really know it. 30, like I have, between 25 and 35, those of us that are still going strong, 3 years is a blink of an eye. 3 years, you don't even remember the last 3 years. It went by so fast. But what I want you guys to do is think, okay, 3 years from now, this is what I want. And then we're gonna write that down. Now we're gonna anchor the words that are attached to that. And then we're going to start taking discipline. We're going to start creating the world creating our practice and creating the world around what that looks like. Okay. Thanks, Gracie. All right. Everybody got this? Haley, you got it? Mama? Okay. Evan. Now, I want you from this moment on, starting tomorrow, and many of you heard me talk about this, but I'm going to say it again. From this moment on, starting tomorrow, that vision of the practice that you have, I want you to run that practice tomorrow the way you want it, not the way it is, not the way you're running it right now. Don't run that practice. If your goal is 100 a day and you're seeing 40 a day, don't go to the office tomorrow and run a 40 a day practice. Run a 100 a day practice. If your goal is to have a strong, passionate relationship with your spouse, starting right now, don't wait till tomorrow on this one. Start right now. Start living the relationship. Start acting and being that relationship that has a strong, loving passion. Do it now. Don't wait and create. And 3 years from now, look at the next 3 years. I want you, if you want $1 million in a bank, I want you to start acting like you are making enough money to have $1 million in your savings in 3 years. Start acting that way. right? Run your life the way you want it, not the way it is. Keep a vision of the future. Use words that are powerful that anchor, right? Remember, every time you have to make a decision, ask yourself this question: is this part of the flow of my life that will get me to my 3 year vision, or am I forcing it? Because I promise you, if you force it, it's going to be a long ass 3 years. I want you. I have this picture in my brain when I was a kid living down in a country in Missouri. Me and my cousins and and the kids I hung out with. This is something we used to do. Been barefooted and jean cut off shorts, and we had the old inner tubes. And the old inner tubes were the ones they took out of car tires or truck tires, had the big stem on it, and our parents aired it up, and we would carry those things. We carry that thing 2 miles up a dirt road, barefooted up a dirt road most of the time. And then we would get in another little bridge, and we get in the creek, and we would float all the way back down where all the parents and all the adults were having a barbecue, whatever. And I didn't understand what a beautiful time of my life that was, because we were just being kids. We were just living in the moment. But I think about how much fun that was to be in that tube and hanging out with your besties and your cousins and your people, and just floating. But I promise you, if we got in the water where the adults were and decided we were going to like swim up the creek with our tubes, man, that'd have been a rough, long ass day. We wouldn't have been having the same conversation. It wouldn't have been the same memory. And I think a lot of times what we do is we wake up every morning and we put our cutoff shorts on and we dive in and start paddling like hell right upstream. And it's not necessary, gang. I know what some of you are thinking. Well, Doc, you don't understand. I'm in a different time of my life. I'm in a different season. I hear that stuff all the time. You can't listen, gang. You can't tell me I don't understand, because I do. I have been there. I have been where you are. I have struggled. I have stumbled. I have fell. I have been broke. I've had fear, lots of it. Gosh, I just, man, sitting in there, and I'm sitting in a chair at this cheap ass apartment pool, when my poor wife, who'd been watching 3 kids all day, is trying to get 5 minutes to herself to take a shower. I've got a brand new baby boy sitting in one of those little bouncy things. I'm bouncing with my foot. I've got a 5 year old daughter and a 10 year old daughter in the pool playing, and I'm sitting there, and I saw 7, 8 patients that day, and every one of them complained and told me they were getting worse. I was making $700 every 2 weeks, family of 5. And my daughter's gymnastic bill was $500 a month. So take that. So we were basically living off of $900 a month for family of 5, right? Broken, defeated. I had been trying to force everything. It's all I knew. When you lift weights, you force a heavy weight. When you fight, you just force, you fight, you force everything. And finally, the force broke me. Couldn't force it anymore. Wasn't strong enough to lift this. So I get up the next morning and you go back to work, because that's what you do. What else was I supposed to do? And I had kind of given up on worrying too much about what was going to happen, because I got my ass beat so bad the day before. It's like, it can't get any worse. Everybody that came in was better, and they praising me. And I had a new patient, and we saw 13 that day, and it was like the heavens opened, and everybody. I was the greatest thing in the world. I was a miracle worker. You're amazing. Wait, what? Where were you yesterday? And that was one of the strongest lessons. And then we just kept flowing, and we kept flowing, and there was a lot of storms, and Shannon and I, we both had to navigate these storms. But then here we are. I do understand where you're coming from. I do understand loss. I do understand not having any money and fear. I do. That's why I love being here with you now, because I can share with you. Ask yourself this question: does this happen to me or for me? Am I flowing, or am I forcing? Am I the captain of my ship, or am I just part of the crew with no captain on their ship, wondering who's gonna write this thing? What are we going to end up? Are we going to hit the bank? Are we going to hit a rock? God knows where we end up. Better take the wheel. It's up to you. All right. Last couple things. Flow comes from you. Your words carry weight. They're felt, not heard. By listen to me. Flow comes from you. From you. It doesn't come to you. Flow comes from you. Your words carry the weight that gets you to flow downstream. Your words are felt. They're felt, not just heard. Not only by others, but by you. Never forget the words you choose will dictate your future. I'm going to read this to you. I put it in the notes. Many of you have seen it. Some of you, I know Dr. Denise, she actually took it and made a plaque out of it and had it framed and put on her wall. And I'm actually thinking, I will tell you where this came from. Flow. It came from source, because source, all things in this world flow from source. I hope you guys know that. That's where flow comes from, is our source. And a few years ago, I was on a coaching call and I was talking to somebody that was just really, really struggling with life and practice. And I said these words, gang, it didn't, these words flowed through me to the point to where after I said it, I had to stop the coaching call and write it down because I couldn't believe what I just heard. I know this sounds weird. I know you guys, some of you know me. Some of you are going, this guy's a nut. Sometimes as my Lord is my witness, this happened. So I'm going to read this to you, and I want you to think about what I'm saying. When you let go of the belief that you are in control, that you are responsible for getting them well or not getting them well, when you stop pushing and start allowing the innate expression to do as it was intended to do, when you learn to take no credit, take no blame, when you start to feel joy and celebrate the fact that you are part of something so much bigger than pain or symptoms, the universe will know that you are ready and send you more than you can handle. As long as you try to remain in control, the universe will only send you the few you can handle. Probably one of the most powerful things that has ever come out of my mouth was this right here. I would tell you I don't know where it came from, but I do. I do. It didn't come from here. I'm not giving myself that much credit, but I am giving myself credit that in the moment, I allowed source to flow through me because it was the thing that needed to be said at that moment to this person. And I think it's the thing that needs to be said to you. It's in the notes. You have it. Copy and paste it. All right. I want you all to think about this. Choose one shift you'll make tonight to live in a flow, not force, and repeat this every day. I want you to read. And the last thing I want you to write down, you are just one adjustment. You can write it down. I am just one adjustment away from whatever it may be. Gang, you are just one adjustment, just one flowing adjustment away from a baby getting well, from a 6-year-old getting over asthma, from a 70-year-old getting over a migraine headache. You're one adjustment away. 20 years ago, Patricia Austin came in my office. Her husband was Earl Austin, and he was the builder of her first house we ever built. And we met her there on a job site, and she came in to see me, and I adjusted her. That one adjustment, that woman has referred me over 50, 60 people to my practice in the last 20 years. You are just one adjustment away from your entire world changing, your whole life changing. You're one adjustment away. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. I hope you guys took notes. I hope that I spoke some chiropractic wisdom into you. Because listen, a lot of you that are on here for the first time, this might be your first Tuesday night live. You might have been looking for chiropractic philosophy or technique or business management, whatever. And I appreciate that. But what you're going to get on Tuesday Night Lives is what is flowing from me, what I think is important right now. And I think that if you will go back and watch this again, and if you'll take the notes that I shared with you, and you will go through, if you'll go through the notes as you watch it, and then write these notes down and lay it on your desk, lay it somewhere you can read it. Don't just do this. Don't just do this um, and forget about it, because that's not intentional. That's not intentional. That is just spending 50 minutes at a night and then going away. All right. So I want you all to do something for me. I want you guys to right now. It is September 9th. I want you, if you're anywhere near Connecticut, um, we've got I'm speaking at the Connecticut Chiropractic Association at the Mohegan Sun on the 19th and 20th. I am doing an adjusting class that Thursday the 18th. All right, and it's a 4-hour class, so it's discounted for the seminar. So if you guys are interested in that, reach out to me and I'll send you the link. It's on the website, but you can reach out to me. The next thing I'm going to be at is on October, Friday and Saturday. I'll be in Wisconsin. I'm speaking at their chiropractic association, and I'm doing another adjusted class on that Friday. So same thing. If you want to do that, um, I'm my Australian doctors. Remember, I'm going to be there in Australia the 10th and 11th. We're doing an adjusted class on the 10th, and we're doing a workshop on the 11th. So all my Australian brothers and sisters, I'm looking forward to actually getting to meet you for the first time. Okay, and then what do we got next? We have Toronto. Oh, we got no. This is what I really wanted to talk to you about. November 8th, Kansas City workshop. Every one of you need to go to this. Garrett Gunderson's going to be speaking. Mark is going to be speaking. He's a real estate guru. We're going to be breaking down not only how to become successful as chiropractors, but then what to do with it. So then, like when you're like me, 30 years of practice, and Gary Sanders, and so many of us, we've had several, and that's been in the group since the beginning, that are starting to retire now, and I'm going to miss them dearly. But I'm so happy for them. But they're retiring because they can, and I want you guys to do that too. And then I will be in Toronto, Canada, November 14th and 15th. And then our London, UK docs, I will see you all December Friday and December 5th and 6th, Friday and Saturday. So we got a busy year. We got a lot going on. So I'm going to say we've got about 8 minutes. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. Um, Anybody have a question? So put some questions out. Danielle, I can't wait to see you in Wisconsin. Sam, I'm glad you're going to Kansas City. Gracie, you're going to love it. Charles, opening day of deer season is Kansas City Workshop. You already got a deer. Whatever. How many do you need? Matter of fact, I want some. So if you're making jerky, save me some. you, if you guys ever want to, you want to go to the country, get a hold of Charles. He's going to take care of it. We got any questions? All right, I'm going to give you about 10 more seconds because I know there's like a 10-second delay. John Dallas, getting close, brother. But John, you ain't ready yet. You got more. You got too much to do. I know you're getting closer, but John, you know what? I'm going to have you speak next year. We need to talk because you need to hear from somebody who's been in practice for years and still that you are John Ballas. You are the master of flow, not force. We need to get you in front of everybody so you can share your wisdom because it'd be amazing. There's Kelly. I was hoping that Kelly that you got on there. Okay, so Danielle, how late can I sign up for the Kansas City workshop? I'll be pregnant by then, and you just Danielle, whenever you can. I know don't worry about that. Kel, started 3 months ago. Grew difficult practice. How do I change around when my people are used to 15 minutes appointments? I do my own front desk. How do I change everything around? Okay, great question. Many of you went through this, and I remember going through this when I was working as an associate personal injury clinic. That then I started learning this stuff. Listen, here's what you're gonna do, Kelly. It's just a little bit at a time. Don't like spring it all on one time. What you're gonna do is you're gonna reduce the conversation a little bit, reduce the adjusting just a little bit, those normal conversations you had. And what I want you to do is, this is your discipline. When you lay hands on a patient, never speak. Do not talk. As soon as your hands touch them, don't talk. They're going to appreciate it. You're not going to have to worry about them being upset. Make the adjustment, pause. 1001, 1002. Go to the cervicals, adjust, hold their head, and then hold it. 1001, 1002. Don't say it out loud, do it in your head. Slow down. Slow your adjusting down. Don't have as much conversation and just reduce the amount of time a little. And they're not even going to notice. They're not even going to notice. But if you're doing a ton of unnecessary things like stretches and all these things, what you're going to do is you're going to just adjust. And then you're going to say, you know what? We're going to allow the adjustment to work today. I want to see how your body responds to that. And then move them to the front desk. Okay, you're going to see as you start watching the videos, and I want you to watch, and send me a message if I've done it. I want you to watch me in my office. That if you go into the Facebook page and put in 44 at the search bar, you'll see my flow. And is watch how easy it is. That's 113 in 3 hours, right? And it'll look slow, but I want you to listen to the conversation. So, Kel, I hope that helps you. We need to get on a coaching call, and I can walk you through that. But I hope that helps you a little bit. Just slow your adjusting down, slow your hands down, reduce the amount of words in the conversation, and do it. Visit a little bit each time, and before you know it, you're 3 or 4 minutes of visit, and they didn't even know what happened. And then you're going to have twice as much downtime and more time to see more people. Okay. All right, Tommy Soleil, I told you from this morning. I hope, Tom, and I'm going to share with everybody on here. I know you wouldn't mind. Tom is one of the greatest human beings on the planet, great chiropractor, but he sent me a message this morning that he's just off. And we all get there. We all get off someone. And the reason we get off is because we quit flowing, we fell off our tube, and we just started dog paddling upstream. And then you feel like a lot of times we're strong and we're healthy, we've got all this energy, you're gonna get tired, man. John Ballas, I mean, I know you know what I'm John, I know you can, say amen to this. That how many times through life and through practice have we find ourselves just swimming upstream? And if you will just relax and flow, and Tommy, just get back in the flow of life. Get back in the flow with Megan. Get back in the flow of laughing with your patients. Get back in the flow with the gym. Get back in the flow with personal development and reading good things. I want you guys book, get this book, Irwin, Seven Frequencies of Communication. Get this book. You guys will love it. It will help you communicate with your patients. I've been meaning to share this with you, and I almost forgot. All right. Okay. We got any more questions? Kel, I hope that made sense. Okay. John, I know you would know. You're a master of it. Okay. Make sure I'm not missing any more questions. Listen, we are one adjustment away. Just one. We are just one. Okay. I hope you guys know just how much I appreciate you. Last thing, last thing. I want you guys to think about something because I get this question a lot. How do I ask for referrals in my practice? Well, what is your intention behind asking for that referral? Big question, right? Are you asking a patient to send somebody in because you want to buy a new car? Or are you asking that patient to refer their families in because you want to get $1 million? Whatever is it about you? If it is, then it's going to be real uncomfortable and you're not going to want to do it. Right. But if you're asking your patients to refer because you truly care about other people and you know that God has given you a gift, and if you lay hands on them and adjust them, then you can make a difference in their life, then it's real easy to ask. It's really easy to ask. And Tom, um, before you leave, I'm going to give you some new patient paperwork. And here's why, Tom. You would mean everything to me if you would go home and give this to your wife and say, look, fill the paperwork out and just go in and get an x-ray and let him look. Tom, it would mean everything to me because you mean everything to me. What I do is important. We keep your spine healthy, but shouldn't we keep your entire family healthy? I don't want to wait until your family, I don't want to wait till your family starts falling apart. So if there's anything I can do, let me know. And if you do that with the proper intention, it's really easy to ask for referral. Do you all feel what I'm saying? Does every one of you listen to me right now? Can you understand what I'm saying? So now I'm going to say it to you this way. I'm asking you to reach out to colleagues, to school, to friends from school, to people in your area. And I know, and here's the thing, Tom, you may take this to your wife and she's like, I don't want to go. Okay, well, at least you tried. But I want you to reach out to those in the profession. I have been doing it for so long, and the amount of messages I get, and I want you all. Katie Short, you're a perfect example. And this isn't self-serving, I'm just going to say it. How has joining this group changed your life, Katie? Gracie, you're already, I mean, you've only been in for what, a month? Your life has changed, right? Danielle, how's it changed? John, why? John, you've been in since the beginning and you're still here. Tommy, you're still here. Charles, has this group done anything to help you? All of you. Has your lives changed? Man, you're just one phone call away, one lunch away, one dinner away from helping another chiropractor achieve their flow and remove force from their life. And think about what you do indirectly by helping another chiropractor. You're helping them see more people. You are influencing the lives of people you will never meet. There's not a greater feeling in the world. Got doctors all over the world. We got a doctor in Sweden that tripled his practice. That means that's 3 times as many people as he's adjusting with a chiropractic adjustment. So inadvertently, for the information that I've learned through my teachers and mentors that I'm sharing with you, I shared with him, and he is now creating health and wealth in Sweden. Man. So yeah, I'm asking you, and I'm asking you for the right reason. It isn't about me. We're good. We're good. But profession needs us. Profession needs you. So I want you all to have an amazing evening. Reach out to me if you need anything. I'll see you in an upcoming seminar, and I'll see you all first thing in the morning on our wake up call. Have a great evening. I love you all. And I'll talk to you soon.